The next challenge from the ego is discerning our intuition from our egotistical desires. There are times that we are just attached to and we want something to happen. And so that was more that, even though there was a lot of fear in the case of my tarot example, the egotistical desire was, I want this to work out. And so I kept trying to come back to meeting that desire of trying to get the tarot card, somehow spinning it so that it was telling me that this was the thing that was going to happen. And so we need to be clear on when we have an attachment to something, that when we are strongly wanting a particular outcome to happen or a particular outcome to not happen, and that we have some sort of biased expectation or desire that's involved. Because if that's the case, then we need to, again, really be able to separate what we desire from what our intuition might actually be telling us. Otherwise, the desire may just win out no matter what, because we'll just keep superimposing it. So we want to develop self-awareness to distinguish between a genuine intuitive guidance and our ego-driven desires, cultivating discernment to recognize ego influences in receiving our intuitive messages, and practices for aligning intuition with higher wisdom beyond our personal desires. And then as a third challenge, there is the potential that that we might get sort of caught up in just analytical thinking, that we don't allow ourselves to trust an intuitive insight that might have us do something that, quote unquote, doesn't really make sense logically. Sometimes our intuition will invite us to do something that is outside of our conditioned kinds of experience. And so in that sense, there might be a little bit of a resistance to it. And there are times when our intuition or our inner guidance may not fully make sense to us. So we want to address the difficulties that individuals or ourselves might have in analytical thinking, where we're learning to trust our intuition as well, and learning how to balance the intuitive insights with our rational thought. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, sort of a litmus test for using our intuition and balancing it with our rational mind as well. And then finding or integrating analytical and intuitive perspectives into our decision making, which we'll talk about here in a moment.